Marylyn, why two Y's?
Well, I had a grandmother, Mary,
Uh-huh.
and I guess they wanted to keep that,
Ah,
and then just add the L-Y-N.
Oh.
That's all I know.
yeah, that makes sense. Well, 1924, Littleton, Colorado. Let's go back.
Okay.
Talk about when you were just a little girl out there.
Well, it was a small town, probably 2,000, and I loved my childhood. It was just so free, and you could go outside and play, and your mom didn't have to worry about where you were. I had friends, lots of friends. I loved school. I had to walk to school, in 6-foot drifts. Well, I actually did have to walk in snow sometimes,
Right.
and walked home for lunch. And
What was the name of that school you went to?
school, Littleton Grade School, I guess is what it was called.
Or around the Depression time. Did that affect your family?
Not really. My father owned a Dodge and Plymouth agency with a garage attached. I don't remember that they talked about being affected by it. I'm sure they were.
Right.
I do remember my dad coming home one day and saying, and I don't remember the name, but Mr. and Mrs. so-and-so lost all their money. That still didn't make an impression on me. I mean, it was too bad, but I think we were all not poor, but certainly weren't wealthy, and nobody felt that they were
Yeah, because
struggling.
everybody, it was the same. for
Everybody
everybody.
was the same, that's right.
Now, your dad had that car dealership. Now, today when we drive by car dealerships, we see hundreds, if not thousands, of cars on the lot.
Yeah.
Do you remember the dealership at all?
Yeah, a little bit. There was a room in the main building to show one car. And I can remember it parked diagonally there to show it. Probably a Dodge.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
So there was one car, and then people
Yeah.
would put an order in and wait for their car to come in.
Or he may have another one out in the outside.
Do you remember your grandparents at all?
I had only one grandmother, my mother's mother. She died when I was about 10.
Do you remember her at all?
Yes, she lived across the street from us in the home that she and her husband had owned and where my mother grew up. And now grandmother had the upstairs bedroom, which had a front window, and she could look out on us, and we could look up and see her. I remember when my sister had scarlet fever and we were quarantined, and so I went to live with grandmother, and we would wave out the window to mother.
And what was high school life like for you?
There were 67 in my high school class. I loved it. I loved high school.
What did you guys do for fun in high school? I mean, what was Friday night, Saturday night?
Well, Friday night was probably a football game or a basketball game. And then afterwards, you might get invited by some guys to go down to the corner drugstore and get a Coke. Big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Then it was just all so simple and enjoyable. As I look back on it now, kids would think it would be boring because what we did was just have fun.